Welcome, boys and girls, to another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. You just caught Cosette and I in our own little pumpkin patch. You see, Cosette has picked out a story for us today all about a pumpkin hill and what happens when too many pumpkins grow on that hill and they roll away. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's one of our stories. We do have a second story for you today, and it's all about a little frog's Halloween. So, would you like to go and read an enchanted story with us now? What do you think, Cosette? Ready to send us on our way? Let's rub our hands together and say, I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and away we'll go. And welcome, boys and girls, for another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys story times. I have a special treat for you today. Today I have two stories. I have Pumpkin Hill and Froggy's Halloween. You ready? Let's read them together. There once was a pumpkin, a lonely, only pumpkin that grew on the brink of a great green hill. The sun shone, the rain fell, the pumpkin grew and grew, larger and oranger and plump, plump, plumper, till one fine day it broke from its vine and roly-polied down the hill. The pumpkin hit a stone and ker-splat! That was that. Or was it? The pumpkin seeds lay on the soft, fertile earth, which soon wore a blanket of snow. In spring, the farmer came with his horse-drawn plow, scattering the seeds across the great green hill. But he and his wife could not agree, barley or corn, alfalfa or hay, so the hill was left unplanted, except for the pumpkin seeds. The rains came, the sun shone, the seeds grew into sprouts, the sprouts into vines, vines with leaves, leaves and flowers, flowers into roly-poly pumpkins. But since no one came to pick them, they withered away, except for the pumpkin seeds. In spring, the farmer plowed once more. Tomatoes, potatoes, turnips. His hill remained unplanted, except for the pumpkin seeds. Sun and rain once around again. Sprouts, vines, roly-poly pumpkins, which withered away, except for... Once again in spring, the farmer plowed but didn't sow. Little did he know he had no need. Beneath the soil, crop was widely planted, those hardy little pumpkin seeds. They grew in sun and rain, from small green lumpkins into round, fat plumpkins. Because the farmer lived on the far side of the hill, he did not see that the land had turned a bright orange with a mass of roly-poly pumpkins. There came a mighty wind, the whirly-swirly kind. It blew the vines into a tangle and sent the pumpkins rumble-tumble, hurtling down the great green hill. The valley town was wakened by a roar as loud as thunder, as thousands of pumpkins thumped and bumped down the slope. Behold, a golden avalanche! Traffic jammed, shops shut. What a delightful disaster. The pumpkins bonked pedestrians and ricocheted off walls. They rolled into the marketplace and tumbled all the vegetables into a giant tossed salad. Pumpkins rolled into the canneries and stalled conveyor belts. Cried the workers, "This is more than our cannery can." One could not help but chuckle to see uppity folk struggle with those most unruly roly-polies. Who could stay a grouchy grumpkin among those jolly, bumping pumpkins? The mayor called a meeting. What shall we do with this preposterous predominance of pumpkins? Make jack-o'-lanterns, cried the children. Remember, it's almost Halloween. So the mayor decreed that each citizen must take home a pumpkin to carve. But when all had claimed their share, a plethora of pumpkins still lined the sides of the roads. The children cried, "Make pumpkin pies!" All Hallows' Eve at moonrise, the whole valley glowed with the grins of 6,000 jack-o'-lanterns. The night air wafted the scent, spicy and sweet, of 3,005 pumpkin pies. Children dressed as ghosts and goblins paraded on the green. Each held a candled pumpkin. What a blazing Halloween! The farmer apologized for causing such a mess. The frazzled mayor shouted, "No more pumpkins." The farmer and his wife talked head to head. Then he announced to the crowd, "I'd like to set aside my great green hill for all these children. They can run here, they can hide, ski, slide, or pony ride. They'll grow healthy, they'll grow tall on this land that I will call Pumpkin Hill."
"A propitious solution," said the mayor,
"for our pumpkin pollution." Then the mayor imposed a harsh punishment on anyone who scattered pumpkin seeds. The guilty one must gobble 15 pumpkin pies within a quarter of an hour. That is the reason why, on Halloween, after carving grim faces with fire-lit eyes, children salt, roast, and eat for supper or snack those perniciously prolific pumpkin seeds. The end. And now, on to Froggy's Halloween. For Froggy, Halloween meant candy, but it also meant dressing up, and he wondered, what should I be for Halloween? I know, cried Froggy, Super Frog! Flying high over the city, faster than a dragonfly, stronger than a bullfrog. No, something spooky. I know, cried Froggy, Ghost Frog! He poked 2 holes in his mother's best white sheet and draped it over his head. Ooh! No, something scarier. I know, cried Froggy, Vampire Frog. He put on his black cape, zwoosh, pulled on his mom's black tights, zip, put on his slick black wig, zat, and said in his best Dracula voice, Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care, I'll pull down your underwear. Froggy! Called his mother. Of what? Halloween's not till next week. You're supposed to be doing your homework, dear. I am Count von Frogula, said Froggy. Vampire frogs don't do the homework. Froggy's mother laughed. Vampires have fangs, she said. You're a toothless wonder. Whoops, cried Froggy, covering his mouth. So all week at school, Froggy wondered, what should I be for Halloween? A football player? A cowboy? A zombie? Froggy! Cried his teacher, Miss Witherspoon. What? Kindly keep your mind on your work, dear. But his mind was on Halloween. Every day after school, he got ready. He carved crazy pumpkins. He hung sticky spider webs all over the front of his house. He hung his mother's sheet like a ghost in the wind, and he practiced, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care, I'll pull down your underwear. At last, it was the night before Halloween, and all through the house there were creaking sounds and scratching sounds. Froggy was scared. He shivered in bed and imagined ghosts and goblins and werewolves and witches. Witches, zap! I know, cried Froggy. I'll be the Frog Prince for Halloween. And in the morning, he put on his black cape, zwoosh, pulled on his mom's black tights, zip, put on his slick black wig, zat, plunked on a gold crown, zunk, and flashed his mighty sword, ta-da! At the Halloween parade at school, all the girls thought he looked cute, especially Froggalina. And that night, when the dark crept in and all the ghosts and the goblins crept out to trick or treat, boo! Princess Froggalina leapt out and chased after the Frog Prince to give him a kiss. Eek! Cried Froggy. He was never more scared in his life. He leapfrogged over his mother. He leapfrogged over his father. He leapfrogged over his friend Max and flopped up Max steps. Flop, flop, splat. He tripped on the porch, and Froggalina fell on top of him. The door flew open, and uh-oh, there stood the wickedest witch in the world. Trick or treat, squeaked Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Luckily, Froggalina ran away, and the witch turned out to be Max's granny. And that Halloween, Froggy got tons of candy. But his sword had torn a hole in his candy bag, and by the time he had got home, his candy was all gone. Oh no, cried Froggy. What's the matter? Asked his mother. He showed her his empty bag. Well, you're in luck, said his mother, holding up a full bowl. I guess nobody liked my treats. And what do you think she gave him? Chocolate-covered flies. Yum, cried Froggy, my favorite. Munch, crunch, munch. The end. And what did you think of our 2 Halloween-themed stories? I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Do you enjoy pumpkin carving? How about playing dress-up and going trick-or-treating? That's an activity I still really enjoy doing. Have you ever done trunk-or-treating? That's a lot of fun too, where you can visit a lot of different people in one area and see a lot of different themed trunks and costumes and get candy and do it as a group. It's a really great time. Well, enough of that, huh? It's time for us to do an activity. And because both of these stories featured Halloween and pumpkins and that sort of thing, I have a pumpkin plan picked out for us today. Ooh, that was some good alliteration there. Lots of P's. Pumpkin plan picked. for us today. Are you ready to go and try it with me now? Okay, let's go.
All right, for today, boys and girls, we have a very simple, very fun, and very quick project, and this is called a pumpkin wand. All you're gonna need is a long stick branch from the back of your yard. If you have a piece of driftwood, that works great. What you're gonna do is take a long one, 2 to 3 feet, and you're gonna break off some of the bark that's kind of crumbling and get it as smooth a branch as you can. And then you're gonna pick your favorite spooky Halloween colors, and you're gonna take your time and paint your stick and coat it very well. So as you can see, I'm painting mine first kind of a lime green, and then I'm gonna let that dry and add some other color detail. So again, with this project, any colors that you like and choose to use is gonna work great, and just take your time getting your whole branch painted and letting it dry before adding more details. Once your first layer of paint is dry and you're happy with how it looks on your branch, you can add additional colors if you would like. I'm just using an orange because green and orange are very Halloween-y. And I'm not using any sort of pattern or print. I'm just adding designs as I like them. You can do this as well, or you can use like a washi tape or duct tape or anything you might enjoy to add some color and detail to your branch. You could even use something sparkly if you want. This part is entirely up to you. Just have fun making a cool walking stick, or a pumpkin wand, I should say, in any way that you see fit. I've finished with my green and my orange, so now I'm just adding a little bit of purple just to break up some of the color and make it a little more visually interesting to me. I used the green and the orange because the little pumpkin I have chosen here, as you can see on my table, has some of those colors in it, so that'll help bring out those pumpkin details. And now I'm just adding some purple for contrast. And the final step, and you might need an adult to help you with this, is to take a threaded screw and carefully hammer it into the bottom of your stick and then push your pumpkin down onto the other end of that threaded screw. And then you're done. That's it. You have your own pumpkin wand that you can place somewhere in your yard to make a special decoration for this time of year. Something a little different than your traditional carved jack-o'-lantern. As you can see here, I've placed it in a flowering bush tree that kind of has similar colors, so I think that might look kind of interesting. But that's it for our craft today. I think we're out of time. You ready to head back to the magic lamp and say goodbye to Cosette? All right, me too. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Magic Lamp, boys and girls. What did you think of our two stories today? I love everything about autumn time. I love apple picking, I love the smell, I love pumpkins, and I especially love to dress up and see what other people dress up as. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have never gotten tired of putting on costumes and playing pretend and trying to be somebody else. It's great to be a genie and to get to go and do all of these fun things with you. Did you enjoy our activity today? You know, it was a little bit tricky for me to get my pumpkin to stay on the top of my wand. I hope it wasn't too hard for you. I think using a hammer and getting that screw down into the wood pretty good, and then putting that pumpkin deep down on it too would help. So maybe use a long screw if you're finding it a bit tricky like I did. Or you might even use a long skinny pumpkin instead of a fat round pumpkin. That might help as well. But as always, we've run out of time for today, but Cosette and I both want to thank you for coming to see us again in our magic lamp. And like always, we say to you again that we hope you'll come back and visit us again really soon. Until you do, we hope you take great care of yourselves and that you use your imagination and creativity to have fun all season long, whether you celebrate Halloween or just enjoy autumn time. I hope you'll enjoy some pumpkin pies or some apple cider or anything else that you might find fun and exciting this time of year. Anyways, time to say goodbye, right, Cosette? Sometimes Jenny the Genie gets busy chatting. Take great care of yourselves, and we hope to see you again really soon. Bye-bye.